Alright, how's it going, everybody? So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to remove the hard drive from the PlayStation 4. I already started working on it. I took this cover off of it, which is basically the first step that you're going to need in order to replace the hard drive. But you're going to need one of two things. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, and you're going to need a thumbstick with at least a gigabyte's worth of hard drive space on it. And I'm not going to show you how to format a PlayStation 4 installation software onto the thumb drive, because there's tons of videos on that already. But I'm going to show you quick and easy steps of how to get the hard drive out of the PS4, swap it with the new one, and then put the new one back in so that you can have more hard drive space. Now I'm going to take this, and you're going to want to have a screwdriver that's able to fit this little PlayStation screw. It has like the square, triangle, X, and O, I think, on there. You're going to want to remove that. That's one of the first things that you're going to want to remove. On the older PS4 models, the screw is a little bit bigger, so I think you can get away with like a larger Phillips screw, but this takes one of the smaller ones because the screw is a little bit bigger, or a little bit smaller anyway. So I'm going to set that aside here. You want to make sure that you keep all your screws together when you're doing this, just because you don't want to lose them. And this just slides out of place kind of like this. I've seen like countless videos on how to do that. The next thing you're going to want to do, I don't know if this is in focus or not, but you're going to want to unscrew these black screws on the sides. There's two on each side, and that holds the hard drive. You're going to want to make sure that you keep the connectors facing out towards the whatever it's called, the little case that it's in. Underneath it kind of just looks like this. It's got a chip and everything, so this is what actually reads the disc and everything. So I'm gonna pull this out, and I'm gonna start unscrewing this, and then I'll probably fast forward it with the help of video editing. Now, the important thing to remember when you're taking out these screws is that you want to be really gentle with these nonetheless, but the screws aren't tightened real tight to begin with. It just looks kind of like that because I haven't done this before. This is my first time doing it. But you don't have to screw these in tight, just enough to where you can either get these screws out, or you can put them back in and they're safely secure in the holsters that they have in here. I'm going to pull these out. It's two of them. And it's okay to touch the underneath of that thing. It's recommended that you don't, but I mean, I don't think it really ruins anything when you're touching it. Alright. Come on, little buddy. Come to Poppy. Alright. So we got this screw out as well. There's 4 screws total. And you want to keep them close by so that you remember how to put them back in. Yeah, there's a hardware store that I went to today, and last night they were closed when I was doing this, so I had to wait till this morning to be able to do my hard drive setup, because there just wasn't anything open at 12 o'clock at night when I was doing this. And this guy's being a little bit frustrating. Always going to be the last screw that's got to be the most difficult. There we go. Alright, you don't want to, because what I did is I kind of stripped the screws a little bit. You don't want to do that, because if you wear them out enough and you want to replace the hard drive later on, it's going to be very difficult to replace. So I'm going to leave this on top for now. This is kind of what it looks like when you take it out of the little case here. You want to remember that you put this side underneath, so it'll look kind of like this when you stick it in. And this is the side that reads all the data and information and everything. So I'm going to pull this out, and this is my 1 terabyte SATA hard drive, which came in the mail a couple days ago, which is rather awesome. So So I'm going to pull her or him or whatever it is out of the little box here. And what's awesome is it comes with like a little sleeve and a little holster for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to keep this box, and I'm going to use it to hold my old hard drive in case I ever want to swap it out for my old one. Alright, so this is going to be interesting, trying to get this out of the little package here. I don't know, can I cut it or... Alright. Okay, yeah, I can cut it. So I'm going to pull this little guy out of here. And an important thing to remember is it's got to be 2.5 inches. So it's got to be roughly the same size as this hard drive right here. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And as you can see here, it says a 1 terabyte. You can obviously get 2 terabytes. I've seen people get 3 or 4, but as you go up in terabytes, you're gonna pay a little bit more for them. I didn't want to pay that much, and this was on Amazon, or never mind, not Amazon, but B&H for like $60. You can get one on Amazon for like, I don't know, $77 or something like that, but this is the one that I'm using. It's the 1 terabyte SATA hard drive. I'll probably put a link in the description of what I bought it exactly. So I'm gonna stick this bad boy in here. Remember what I did before, and it fits in perfectly. So now's the fun part, and that's sticking all the screws back in and then plopping the thing back into the PlayStation 4. So we are back. I took a little bit of a break and I readjusted my my setup here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sticking in the screws of the sticking the hard drive, the screws back into the hard drive. Alright, so you want to realign the hard drive so that the screws fit nice and perfectly back in. Alright, so I figured out a problem here. So the screws don't often fit in the hard drive slot, so you're going to want to make adjustments to this when you're putting them back in. You want to keep your hand a little bit on the chip itself, otherwise the screws are going to fall out, and that is definitely not what you want when you're working on your new hard drive and being able to put it back in so it works. And you got to remember not to drop your screws, otherwise you're going to lose them. This is just a little bit tricky, so bear with me here. And you don't need them to fit like necessarily like right in perfectly, but it would be nice if they did. And in case something goes wrong, you don't want to like do it like super duper tight, otherwise it's gonna be difficult when you're trying to get them back in when you're trying to get them back out. So I'm going to readjust this one here. And now I'm onto my third screw. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm sorry I'm not like super like flamboyant in the way that I talk when I'm working on this. It's just trying to pay attention here, and this is a little bit tricky. Especially when screws don't line up properly. Alright. And now this one's in place, which is awesome. So now we can work on the last screw. Alright. Time for the last screw. This is always the fun part. Well, not really the last screw, because we still got that PlayStation screw to screw in. And just screw a little bit tighter. There you are. And what's also important to keep in mind is you want to back up your hard drive when you're doing this, because if you don't, you're going to lose literally all your data. I didn't back it up because I don't really care. I only had like a couple games that I was really playing a lot, and I didn't start any new games because I knew that I was going to be doing this, and this is going to probably ruin some of my saves if I try to install everything. But there is a way to do it. You're going to need at least either an external hard drive, which I have. I don't use it, but or you're going to put the software information to the cloud. And let me wind this back in here. Alright. So now is the fun part. Putting the PlayStation screw back into the hard drive. And voila! So that is a quick, easy step on how to replace a hard drive and put it back into the PlayStation 4. I have my old one here that I unscrewed. This is the 500 gigabyte hard drive. It's the one that comes standard with the PlayStation 4 model. And all you do is you unscrew this screw, unscrew the 4 screws that I've said before, place the new hard drive back in, align the hard drive to the new casing, screw them back in, and then plop the hard drive back into the little holding area here. And then now is the time to put the top back on the PlayStation 4, which I already took apart. And I might use footage from last night when I tried this to show you guys how to do that. But you just slap it back in here, and sometimes it makes a kind of a crunch noise. You didn't break your system or anything. That's just kind of how it sounds when you're putting it back in the casing. And the casing back on. And I'm going to stick this new hard drive back onto this, which is not really a step, but I want to do that just because I want to keep the hard drive and everything. And what's a good idea is you never know when you're going to need another 500 gigabyte hard drive. You can either use this and format it for like a computer or something, or you can keep it and use it as a spare hard drive in case your console ever kind of craps out on you. I'm going to place that back in here, this little gun. Alright, fits in nice and tight. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to just show my viewers kind of how to do it, because you can do it and it's not that hard. Like, I was a little bit afraid to do it myself, and now I got a new 1 terabyte hard drive in my PlayStation 4.